I think my alter ego saved my life. My name is Paris Latavia. I was born in Detroit, Michigan on September 4th, 1998. So yeah, that makes me Virgo. Growing up, I always told my whole family, you're gonna see my name in lights. And I wasn't kidding. It hasn't happened just yet, but I think it's gonna happen sometime soon. It's just something that I always dreamed of and something that I'm still dreaming of to this day. And I don't know how my name is gonna be in the lights, but it's going to be in the lights. Now, obviously, I used to be really delusional about my goals growing up. I used to tell people I was a model just because I took cute pictures that I liked. I used to tell people I wanted to be a chef solely because I enjoy cooking random things and mixing random things up. And at the time, I was probably only making ramen in the microwave, but whatever. And I think even one time I told my mama I was gonna be on American Idol, and I can't even sing. I literally used to be so delusional with my goals. At that time in my life, you literally could not tell me that any goal was out of reach because I would have told you that you were lying. I knew that they were, as in some capacity I knew that they were, and I knew that I would have at least one supporter, whether that be my grandma, my mom, not on the American Idol thing, but on other things, or my sisters or my friends. I always had at least one person who would believe in the wildest dreams that I've ever had. I just always knew that in some capacity my dreams would be reality, and then one day that just kind of stopped. I don't know if it like reality hit or like me believing in like what the haters had to say hit me, but I kind of just wasn't as crazy about my dreams and goals for a second. It just wasn't really something that I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. It turned into like, maybe. One day randomly, I was sitting in my room and I just started thinking about the type of person that I wanted to be. I knew that she would be fun, she would be confident, she would be a dreamer, she would be sexy, and she would be bold. So then in 2022, Vivi was born. I knew I wanted her to be me, but a bolder me, a more exciting me, a me that wasn't scared to follow her dreams, and a me that was just like super cool. I already know that I'm a cool person, but I wanted her to be even cooler. I created Vivi to do all the things that I was too scared to do. I knew that I still was gonna do the things because I was going to be Vivi, but she was gonna be able to do them way better than I could. Hi, I'm Vivi. Welcome back to Vivi's World. I know you missed me. Do I look good? I always do. I created Vivi to be all the parts of me that I was just a little bit too scared to showcase. I just felt like all these parts of me that people would judge, Vivi wouldn't care. She would just do it anyways because who's gonna judge her? Her motto is literally, everyone is rooting for me. So if you're hating on her, if you're talking about her in some type of way, if you're doing anything in regards to anything that she does, you're rooting for her. And that is why I do certain things through her. Me personally, I really love being creative, and I loved being creative since I was a kid. I remember always making something out of nothing, always wanting to showcase my art and creativity to the world in many different ways. But as I said earlier, it did come to a point where I kind of started to fear what people would think of me and how people would perceive the things that I create. So then that is what kind of pulled me away from creating certain things. But that's why Vivi is here, to do all the things that I'm scared of and show them to the world and bring them to life. I think growing up, a word that I typically use to describe myself was shy. I wanted Vivi to be not shy at all. A lot of people are like, oh, you're not shy because I talk a lot, or like I do YouTube or stuff like that. But like, I feel like a lot of shy people do talk a lot. Like, I don't know, I'm an introvert and an extrovert, so I can morph into either or. So I definitely do feel like I'm on the shy side, but I literally wanted Vivi to be the complete opposite. Like, she is not shy at all. And because she's the complete opposite, she's able to do all the things that I love to do, but very loudly, in a way that I am just like, oh, I don't want to do that, or like people are gonna think about this or that, whatever. And like when I turn that side of myself on, my alter ego, all that stuff goes out the window because I don't care. Well, she doesn't care. Or we both don't care. Oddly enough, Vivi isn't my only alter ego. So I created her in 2022 when I was just like, I want to share my art and I want to share all my things out loud. From there, I actually created another alter ego, but there's actually two. It's hard to explain. Well, we're gonna explain it, okay? So my other alter ego name is Gail. There's Gail in my world, and then there's Gail in Vivi's world. The Gail in my world was created to work my 9-to-5 job. A lot of times at work, I found myself becoming super emotional and beyond frustrated with just like how the corporate workspace is. I literally found myself working late hours, and I started to feel so angry and so sad with just like how my life was looking as far as like the corporate world went. So when I created Gail, I created her to be an older woman who didn't really care about how people treated her at work. She's literally there to get her job done. She goes to work, she clocks in, she does what she has to do, and then she logs off. She doesn't take BS from anybody, and she doesn't allow anybody to make her emotions spike and get out of character. Like, she's just like, I'm here to get a check and I'm going home at a reasonable hour so that I can live my life. And then there's Gail in Vivi's world. Gail in Vivi's world was not created until Vivi's world was created, because she is Vivi's assistant. So Gail in this world is much younger than the Gail in my world, and she first appeared in Vivi's world episode 1, but only as a voice character, but you'll start to see her on screen a little bit more. But this Gail, she's a little bit soft-spoken. She's also there to just do her job. So she is very similar to the other Gail. They're both just here to get their job done. But yeah, those are the Gails. So at this point, you're either thinking, this girl is very, very crazy, which like, maybe. Or you're thinking, I want to create an alter ego. So if you're thinking about creating one, I am so happy to share some little tips and tricks of how you can create your own. So let's get into it. Before we dive into you creating your own alter ego, I feel like we need to take a moment to look at some of the notable celebrities that have alter egos. Because if you're thinking I'm crazy, I'm not the only one. There's other people who have alter egos too. Everybody knows there's Beyonce, and then there's Sasha Fierce. Sasha Fierce was basically created to allow Beyonce to have a very confident and demanding presence when she performed as Sasha Fierce. Beyonce herself is known to be a little bit of a more reserved person, so Sasha Fierce was created to be the complete opposite and be able to have her perform in all types of crazy ways. Sasha Fierce was created to be fierce, obviously, bold, and just super unapologetic when it comes to performing. I think everybody's favorite alter ego is Nicki Minaj as Roman. And Roman is just very crazy and super exaggerated. Roman allows Nicki Minaj to be animated and just kind of crazy in a fun way. Like, Roman is just an exciting alter ego. Roman is basically Nicki Minaj's way to be loud, outspoken, and kind of rebellious, because Roman would say the things that Nicki Minaj is just like, I'm not gonna say that. Another celebrity that had an alter ego was Prince. Prince had an alter ego named Camille, and Camille was the high-pitched voice that Prince would tap into sometimes to be a little bit androgynous and be able to have a bit of a feminine side when it came to his music. And one last notable alter ego is Eminem as Slim Shady. Slim Shady was super raw and uncensored. He was the side of Eminem that was like, you could not keep him in a box because he was gonna bust out and say what he had to say. Slim Shady basically allowed Eminem to tell very dark stories in a sometimes humorous way, and definitely in an unfiltered way. So I don't know if you noticed, but from all these celebrities, their alter ego is in some way themselves, but it's also a character at the same time, because they're able to tap into these different energies or feelings when they are their alter ego. Basically, an alter ego allows you to have certain characteristics that you can embody through the alter ego that maybe you yourself wouldn't be able to do. When it comes to creating an alter ego, you want to make a character that can exude all the characteristics and energies that you might not be able to do in your everyday life. So now that you know that many creative people have alter egos, let's make one for you. The step one to creating your alter ego is to choose key traits that you feel like your alter ego would have. So think about the qualities that you want your alter ego to embody. So is your alter ego stylish? Are they fearless? Are they outspoken? Are they disciplined? So get a notebook and write down 3 to 5 traits that you feel like your alter ego would have. When you're thinking about these traits, these should be the best parts of yourself as well. So if you feel like you have qualities that you want your alter ego to definitely have, write those down too. The next step to creating an alter ego is defining how they look and what their personality is like. So you can think about, how does your alter ego dress? How does your alter ego speak? When I created Vivi, I knew that I wanted her to be soft and seductive. So her voice, I think my natural voice is like on the higher side, and I wanted her voice to be a little bit lower, and I wanted her to talk a little bit slower. I talk really fast. So I wanted her to talk very slow and sexy and just like super grown woman type of vibe. When you're thinking about your alter ego, what type of energy do they bring in the room? Vivi brings like, I'm here, like that type of energy. Or do you want them to come in the room and be super bubbly or like super happy or sad? Like probably not sad, but if you're creating a character, they can be whatever you want them to be. Something fun that your alter ego could even have is a signature phrase. I said earlier that Vivi's is everybody is rooting for me, and that's because that's what she believes. So every day she's going to think everybody is rooting for me. All these details come together and bring your alter ego to life, because it's not just like, oh, they're happy all the time, or oh, they're bold. It's like literally, who is the person? And then step 3, you want to decide, how are you going to activate your alter ego in your everyday world? So some people step into their alter ego by their fashion. So they get dressed in a certain way. So if you typically wear tight clothes, but your alter ego wears baggy clothes, then you will put the baggy clothes on to activate your alter ego. Some people activate their alter egos by using music. They'll listen to certain songs that will help them tap into the energy of their alter ego. And some people have rituals that they do to tap into the alter ego. So that can be saying certain affirmations or mantras or things in that nature that help you feel like, okay, I am blank. I am whoever that person is. For me to tap into Vivi, I just put on bold makeup, cute outfit, and I just turn on like my like grown women energy. I'm like, I'm grown, I'm cute, I'm sexy, I'm fun, and I'm Vivi. And then for me to tap into Gail, I log onto that laptop for my 9 to 5. I am not going to let the corporate world bring me down. And as soon as I say that, I feel like now I'm Gail. Time to get to work. I created my alter ego to help me show up in different ways for myself and for my creativity. For a very, very, very long time, I was shying away from the person that I actually wanted to be. And Vivi allowed me to tap into those areas so that I can be my best self always. I definitely feel like my dreams are within reach now because I've created these alter egos, because it's allowing me to tap into a part of my brain that I was trying to like shut off in a type of way. Like, I don't know, it's very strange. Saying it out loud, it is definitely very strange, but I feel like it has helped me so much. Tapping into Vivi has allowed me to post more on YouTube, which I always wanted to do, to start taking pictures again, which I had stopped for many different reasons. But tapping into Vivi has just really changed my life in so many ways, because I've been so adamant about doing the things that I want to do, because I feel like, what would Vivi do? I literally tell myself, what would Vivi do? If I don't feel like doing something, well, would Vivi do it? She probably would. Let's get it. And I feel like tapping into that energy has just helped me in so many different ways. So if you're thinking about creating an alter ego, let me know in the comments, because I really want to know, who do you think your alter ego will be? Why do you think you might create an alter ego? And I don't know, let's just talk about it. Is this weird to you? Do you think it's crazy? I don't know. Let's talk about it in the comments, okay? Let me know. So the question of the day is, are you gonna create an alter ego? Let me know. All right, bye.